Welcome to the Industrial Insights Podcast. I have Hillary Drake with me of Liminal Network. We're learning about APIs and modernizing how you connect your infrastructure with your clients, kind of as everybody is evolving today with AI and just the amount of connections and data. It's presenting all sorts of issues for clients and opportunities for modernizing. So Hillary is part of that movement, and thankful for you to be here with us today, Hillary.
Good
And
morning.
maybe, yeah, you can give us a little background for people who don't know you yet.
Yeah. So my company is called Liminal Network, as you mentioned, and I started Liminal Network because I got so annoyed at how long it was taking for me to integrate with my trucking companies. Before I got into the software space, I was a shipper at Enterprise for 30 years. So worked 20 years, gosh. So I was working with big trucking companies, small trucking companies, a lot of sites, a lot of systems. And the most common theme we were experiencing was, where's my order? When am I going to get it? I need paperwork. I need this information, especially because we're in the world of drop ships. Every distributor that I know isn't keeping as much inventory as they used to. And that means when it's shipping from the manufacturer straight to the customer, in order to get paid, you have to have the paperwork. And we've got to build self-service for that to give people the same experience they get from the online retailers they buy from at home. So I ended up not being able to buy what I wanted anywhere in the market. And my husband told me either start a company or stop talking about it. So here we are. That's what we do now.
Yeah. And I could imagine if your experience went through COVID and inventory and where's my inventory, that was only exacerbated. And so you started a few years ago, 2023, if I'm correct on that. So you would have seen it like, I could see why it would be a problem that's so big that you're like, wow, okay, this is pervasive. Like there's a market for it and like I can address it.
Yeah, I might have spent a week in Excel with folks figuring out what we had on the water in March 2020, because we literally had to go in and look at every single shipment, which POs are on it and what part of what POs. But what really got me was actually what we were seeing later. A quarter of our customer contacts were, where's my stuff? And
Okay.
folks that I've talked to since then, a quarter is actually pretty low. When we look at the research, anywhere from like 80% of customers now expect online self-service in the B2B space. And a lot of companies can't provide that at all. Some people don't even have e-commerce, period, for B2B.
You get Marty in the warehouse if you can find him.
Yep. But you can't find him because it's 3 in the afternoon and he's shipping orders. So tomorrow morning, you'll email him again and then he'll respond with it. No one wants to end a call with a customer. Let me find out and get back to you. That just stinks. Well, let's build self-service, whether it's for employees or for customers, and get those hours back and actually help customers in that time.
Yeah, without a doubt. With the size of people who need this, if you could like give us the lane or the like how you like contextualize the market of like Hillary's looking for customers, who's like the perfect fit for you.
So, who I'm looking for right now is B2B manufacturers and distributors and logistics companies. Generally speaking, they're going to be revenue 50 million plus, at least 2 people in customer service, and their product is large enough that it doesn't all ship parcel. So if everything goes with one of the major parcel carriers, that's pretty straightforward to do in-house. It's when you get into, I've got 5 LTL companies and 5 truckers and all of these people. I don't want to take the time to really implement and then maintain 10 different APIs for where's my stuff. Where we come in is one API that's easy to use.
You just described 80% of my client base, I would say, which is where like shipping parcels and e-com like
Mhm.
is a growing segment of the industrial real estate world, right? Like as e-commerce, like it gets larger and larger. But of the deals that like most brokers do and the rest of the businesses in the country that are not Amazon or like a fulfilling parcel delivery, like this is what it is. And that's in like the 50,000 square foot buildings or the 200,000 square foot buildings or anything that's like sub 500,000 feet. Like this is the bread and butter of the market for sure.
Absolutely. And those are the companies that I worked for before I started my own thing. Whether it's third party fulfillment or in house, it's those 50,000, hundreds thousand, up to 500,000 square foot warehouses with that are full of pallets, frankly.
Yeah. And the person you usually work with is, of course, like IT is probably like lurking in the shadows or like, but is it the ops guy that's dealing with this problem that has become a pain point that then is like, man, we got to do something about it? Or who would you say you're usually like a finding is responsible for dealing with improvement for this particular issue?
Well, if they have a customer experience person, that is who it is. And if you haven't done a customer
This
journey,
is where you were saying to customer support
yeah,
or more. Yeah.
yeah. If you haven't done a customer journey map, just like you would do a value stream map, starting way the heck back at discovery and going all the way to returns, I recommend it to everyone because it reveals so many gaps. I think the best slide I ever made in my career was a customer journey map where I also plugged in all the systems. So where is everyone interacting? And it was surprising, even I'd been doing it, but I didn't realize where some of those gaps were. But it's interesting. It can be for me, it can be customer experience. It can also be the CFO, because a lot of what we're doing ultimately can tie back to cash. And we
Yep.
can bring value pretty quickly. And frankly, we can make collections lives easier too. It might be the ops guy, it might be the IT leader who needs a win. It's fast and easy, especially compared to other ways to do this in the market right now, which is a horrible answer to your question. But it's basically everyone.
Yeah, and everyone does it different,
Yeah,
right? Depending on like your
exactly.
scale and if you're centralized or decentralized. I love in business school and some of our accounting classes, there was like the CFO just needs to open his drawer and have some tool he can pull out to solve a problem sometimes. And like that always stuck with me of like, they do have a lot of issues, a lot on their plate. And like this is one that like seems to be like a small pain, big gain when you just think of like over time and like reoccurring and like maybe perhaps a no brainer isn't so easy to say, but like I could totally see how that's just as like once you can evolve that way, like you will continue to benefit.
And it's fun. A lot of what we're doing that I really love and that I think really differentiates ourselves is we're building this to plug into the systems they already own. I believe strongly people don't want to go to other websites. It's hard to get people to change their habits and it's less efficient at the same time. So, how do we plug this data into the screens that people are already using? And that's the real magic in this that makes it really impactful very quickly. Because then users don't have to go look for it, it just shows up for them.
Yeah, I want to dig into that. Before we do, though, I've never heard anyone do this customer journey map. So I wouldn't mind if you'd take a few more minutes of like an example of like a one you done, what you learned from it. And I totally get that, like, walk a mile in their shoes, right? And then you're like, oh, okay, like I could totally see the conceptually where like finding room for improvement, like you're gonna find it there.
Yeah. So let's take one of my former employers, Satellite Industries, just because it's fun product, frankly. They are now the largest porta potty manufacturer in the world. So if you are thinking about, hey, I want to start a business, I want to get into the that space, you're going to go into what's called discovery. So you're thinking about, I've got options. Who do I want to buy from? So you might start looking on the internet. You might start talking to people you know. You might reach out in your network. Do I know anyone who owns one of these service businesses that I can talk to? So that's the first phase, discovery. What do I know? What do I want to know about this? And that's one of the hardest places for marketing because you don't know who these people are. They're cold at that point. And even there, logistics and operations do play a role because people might be looking at websites like, so when can I get this? How much is it going to cost? How can I get it delivered? Can I get it assembled? All of those pieces feed into even before the customer has said, yes, I'm going to buy, much less made a buying decision. After that, it flows through journeys, depending on manufacturer, distributor, whatever. It's Do I have the inventory? Do I need to make the inventory? When will it be available? Okay, then I ship it. What's the experience going with shipping? And then the last piece of the journey map, which is, I think, the second hardest after discovery, is what happens after it's shipped. Did it deliver okay? Are there any returns? Are there any warranty issues? Because realistically, your responsibility to that customer continues at minimum to the end of the warranty, but also you want them to be a repeat customer. You want them to keep
Lifetime
building that
customer
relationship.
value. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that means you need to be continuing to think about how are they interacting with you? How are they learning from you? And how can you help them? Even though the order's shipped, then delivered, then everything is going swimmingly. They might need parts. They might want more product. You have to maintain the relationship.
Yes. Okay. I love it. Yeah. It's so many places for error, or rather other places where like there's just feedback from the customer and areas of improvement that like if you don't map it, you're just not thinking that's an opportunity to like enhance the relationship or like the experience that they have.
And
And then go
you
ahead.
might not be thinking about places that your customers do interact with your systems. Like, does your customer interact with inventory? Absolutely. It might be through an ordering page, it might be through customer service. But even if you have a manufacturing system that customers cannot see, they're seeing the outputs from it. So you have to really think about how all of those systems are talking to each other.
Yeah. We real estate folks, just by saying it that way, not technical, right? When it comes to like being slow to adopt technology, like everyone selling in prop tech, property
Mhm.
technology, like always loves this part. And so half the audience, I would say, is like 3PL and users, and half the audience is like a commercial real estate brokers that know leases and like bricks and sticks. And so you had brought up how your solution like helps layer into the screens and the systems that people are already using. And so for people that aren't as technical, like maybe you can open that up a little bit as to like how that works. I totally get like the benefit of why it works. And then to some degree, I had talked with Michael of Lowly, who helps with pick optimization. So like for travel paths, and like it's a layer in someone's WMS that like you don't have to change your UMS in order to optimize your pick paths. And like there's a lot of efficiency there, and that's his business. It's not too dissimilar, but just another part of that journey. And so I've had a little like introduction to that, but I don't see that on the daily because I see where the systems go, and that like there's enough space for enough inventory and for all the dimensions for the truck court, for dock doors, for loading, unloading, for trailer storage. And so I see all like the physical. What I don't see is all the bits and the data and the systems that connect it. So I'm always fascinated to learn more about that. And that's probably gives people more of insight into the systems that people are using and like how you can make improvements like you do.
Well, and it's funny you say 3PLs. I know 3PLs who've lost deals because of these integrations, because they were too slow, because they couldn't get these things done fast enough, because frankly, we're still using 40-year-old tech in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
I think the simplest example is probably something we've all done. When you get a package from Amazon, there's a picture in your email. And personally, I love it because that tells me, did they leave it at the front door? Did they leave it at the garage? Did they leave it at my neighbor's door? Which there,
My door's not red. Yeah.
my door's green. The one on that side is blue. The one on that side is red. It's very handy. But at the end of the day, we all expect that. And what our integrations can do is create that experience into the websites, the systems you're already using. Because chances are most of the delivery companies you're working with have some kind of data. That might be the piece of paper that the customer signed. It might be pictures. For some of them that have tablets, it might just be a digital signature. But what our APIs do is get that information back into the systems you already have. We have one customer who's a trucking company. They have a customer that makes windows down south, and they are very attached to their orders. They need to know everything has gone perfectly. And they were calling the trucking company within 5 minutes of delivery. They could see it had delivered. Is it okay? Is everything good? Now they can see that paperwork signed clear as soon as the delivery status updates. And it gives the customer that reassurance. If something does go wrong, it lets them address it proactively. So there's nothing worse than getting a call from an angry customer about a problem you didn't know was happening.
Yeah, let me get back to you. Yeah. I could see with B2B too, like the values are higher, the volumes are higher, and maybe the ramifications of each delay or problem are larger.
Yes. I've done a lot of job site work over the years. And when you've got a crew waiting for this delivery, that is frustration and it's money. I mean, I haven't shut down a production line since very early in my career. Actually, I came close. I didn't actually shut it down, but it was within a couple hours.
That's
And
good.
that's the kind of thing that we all want to be able to plan for better.
Yes. Yes. Smoothing out all the opportunities for disruption along the chain. And then delve more into like tying into everybody's systems. This means you have a partner who is your technical wonk, if you will,
Yes.
or like how did you go from just an industry player and like a participant to like, all right, let's create a technical solution that like knows what every system is and like can pair with it.
Well, some of it I cheated a little bit because I was always on the business side, but my high school job was actually in tech and I never got all the way away from it.
Okay.
I had projects where I was implementing EDI. I was doing a lot of the older ways to do this data exchange. And I was also doing work in reporting in our data lakes throughout my career. So I already knew that in the market, these points of access already existed and they weren't being leveraged the way they should be. And they're about to get a lot better. I'm actually on a committee writing standards that are improving these that are being released through NMFTA. But when I looked at this and was like, I can see how to fix this. I can see the architecture. I reached out to Josiah, my business partner, who I actually went to undergrad with. He
Okay.
moved out to California to get his PhD and, the
I thought
beach.
UCI went to UCI. Yeah, I live by there. That's my alma mater.
And it is hard to move away from there. So after he did his PhD, he was working at YouTube and Color was one, which is a testing company. So he was working on COVID testing data. Adley was another one for a while. So he really already understood the data exchange and the way this could work. What we needed was the business side of things. How do we actually make this work for companies like the ones I've worked with? Legacy tech stack. We're working with older systems. We're working in very constrained environments with few IT resources. How
Yes.
do we make this actually usable for folks like them versus folks who've only ever worked at tech companies where you have more resources, you have more familiarity with this, and your systems are a bit more modern?
Yeah. $50 million and up, though, is no slouch when you think of like companies with resources, right? Like that. I get that they probably got to 50 million because they've been there for a long time, and that's part of the source of legacy and like a part of the challenge.
I think part of it too that you don't necessarily see if you haven't been in it is yes, there are resources, but you're always competing for them.
Yeah.
And there might be
We need
two I
new forklifts. Are we doing warehouse automation? Are we going to hire more sales guys? Or
yeah, or are we going to buy more equipment for the factory? Are we going to invest in better lighting? All of those things that come together and your project can be awesome and still not get funded because there's a better project. And
yeah,
that part is really hard to understand if you haven't been in that grind. It's a 24-month payback. It's an awesome project. It's a win-win-win. Why aren't we doing it? Well, there are two IT people who can do it, and they're on this other project for the next 18 months.
yeah, yeah. You had me a 24-month payback, and then you're like, well, that's number 9 on the list, so we'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah, I've lost a 13-month payback a couple times.
Yeah. And so the challenge is, the part of the solution is making it a lighter lift for the IT. and a
Yeah.
lighter lift for kind of all parties involved.
Yes. And also making it approachable from a cost perspective. Our goal is to be firmly on the expense side. We're not a capital approval, and we're targeting senior manager or director level approval for
You
expense.
don't need a loan.
Nope.
Yeah.
Just need a credit card. No long
Yeah.
term commitment.
What kind of data do you need?
A tracking number and a carrier name.
Okay.
That's it. So the data should already exist on the invoice table in whatever order management system, whether that's an ERP or a standalone system. But the data already exists in the system on the invoice.
Yeah. Do you go back in time and help them see where their problems not came from, but like I'm sure they're riddled with like, here's where our delay percentage was, or like our service levels and what we meant were. And I'm sure there's measurements that you guys have of like that shows part of the proof outside of just like a better customer experience.
Well, it's funny you say that. Our solution is one of the only ones on the market that can go back in time. Um,
Okay.
of the solutions on the market can tell you basically you have to tell them you have done something and then they'll give you updates going forward. We can go back to basically anything that you have legitimate access to. Our structure is a little different, so we don't do analytics for people, but we help them do analytics in their own system. One of the things that I believe really strongly is your data is your data.
Yes.
It doesn't belong to us. Therefore, we don't keep it unless you're paying us to. The We want our customers to know that their data is secure and it is completely in their control. Because we don't always think about how much is out there with shipping data, but we all know people target specific 3PLs because of who their customers are. We need that data to be absolutely secure because you don't want a bad actor to be able to say, here's all the shipments out of this warehouse, because I know Samsung is in that warehouse. That happens. It's, or for that matter, you don't want someone to be able to build a complete profile of all your customers because they can scrape your logistics data
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised that happens. That's people that just like are stealing shipments.
all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I get that we have gates around our truck courts and our loading areas, and there's for several reasons, for sure.
Yeah, it's getting more sophisticated every year. There's a lot of impersonation, a lot of claiming to be the legitimate trucker picking up a load and just stealing it. And it's always happened. It used to be a little
The
more,
audacity. Yeah, let's put on a fake mustache and some glasses and roll up in a U-Haul and see what happens.
well, I hope the shipping guy is going to be, wait a minute, but
Yeah,
they're getting more sophisticated every year and we have to try to be proactive about it.
yeah. I would guess that then your system doesn't plug into anything of warehouse automation, because just if you think of this journey like inbound orders are picked, then it's going to the dock. I guess they're not picked if it's like a parcel, perhaps, right? Like your integration starts once it reaches the staging area.
Well, something that is not super public.
Just as we're getting more tech in the building and more
Well,
like a connection points, it's interesting to think like where one starts and stops and how
we
they all
are
play nice together.
something that we are looking for a beta partner for right now that we haven't released publicly is actually rate shopping.
Okay.
So as you get to whether it's before picking or after picking, once it gets to the scale and the measurements, you might be rate shopping. Who's the right carrier for this given? Okay, this is how big it is. This is when it needs to get there. Who do I want to give it to? And doing carriers. And that can be in the transportation management system, or it can be in the warehouse management system, depending on how you've structured it. And there are some very cool scanning tools out there that if you haven't talked to folks about that lately, there's some neat options coming to market for both dimensioning and getting a lot more pictures of your orders. But we can tie into those. Okay, given that information, given this is the product, here's the carrier, just based on rate shop. Here's my price with all of my carriers. Assign that carrier. We can print the paperwork off the bat, get a tracking number assigned to it immediately. You're not going to have to use stickers anymore. You can get one from the carrier, print it straight onto all of the paperwork you're already putting on the shipment, and then it becomes visible earlier in the process. If you're still using a book of stickers that the carrier gave you, you literally can't see what's happening until they scan it back at the terminal.
Yes. I love it. This goes to more awareness, more visibility, more trackability earlier in the process.
And maybe save some money on shipping.
Yes, of course. Tell me rate shopping and assignment, how it works now versus what's like cutting edge or what you envision.
So an awful lot of the time how it works now,
Because I hear about it, like I talk with folks about it, but again, like we make sure we got the building set up for them. This is less the part that I see on the daily.
so I think of trucking as possibly the Econ 101 perfect market. You've got a lot of choices, and your partners also have a lot of choices. So your prices can vary pretty wildly because, well, this guy needs to get to Texas. He's going to give you a deal out of SoCal, where somebody else, they don't need to get there. They're going to charge more because they don't really want to go to Texas. They want to go to Minnesota. So in practice, that means you can check the prices for all of your agreements. Who's the best price for this today? Worst case, what happens is the shipping guy just gives it to his buddy who takes him for lunch. It happens. Or they might be logging on to all the websites. Okay, here's the order characteristics. What's the price? This website is $100. This one's 120. This one's 110. Okay, I'm going with this guy. Or we can put it in a system that does all of that automatically and either shows them, here are your choices and your prices, or you can auto assign it to, well, give it to the $100 one. And a lot of WMSs already have this functionality. It's just a question of building the connections to enable it. Because that's what they do with parcel already in a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's bringing the parcel like maturity to the B2B. Where like they ship less quantity of items and like yeah, they don't use all like the name brand people that do parcels. Yeah, it's interesting that WMS systems are missing the connection, or like that's a part that's just our transportation management systems.
Yeah, it's something that historically you would build out inside the system. So you just load all your pricing. But that's what you do when you're at enterprise scale. It's always easier to just throw labor at it in the past. But now we're all running leaner. And frankly, it's annoying. So let's make it easier for people.
Yeah, I could see how this can enable more shipments, right? Or like more streamlining, maybe cause you to turn inventory faster. Or as I usually get back to like, what's this mean for the C levels making decisions with their VP of ops team of where they should be, why they should be tall or short or big, or in what area. And so I could imagine this could help say, hey, if we're moving faster inventory, we'll need to bring inbound more often. So therefore, we may want to value being closer to the ports or the rail more, or to certain customers that are key customers where product is coming from. And like that start to be a little bit bigger slice of the pie of like the decision making of like a smoother operations usually leads to like a slightly different real estate decisions.
Absolutely. I think it's the last 5 years have really been an eye opener for a lot of folks on how dependent we all are on port operations, on international operations as a whole, and just how where you're located can make such a difference to your customer experience.
And you see customers that all have an existing system. Like, do you ever advise, hey, let's start from scratch? Or do you ever have an opportunity to help people build their systems from scratch? And if you did, how would you look at it differently?
So I'm actually working with a trucking company right now that operates on paper and QuickBooks.
That's as close to scratch as it gets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I am going to try and convince them that they need more of a system because They do have some awesome opportunities for growth with that. In addition to the APIs, we have a tool that's called Final Mile Photos that's take
Yes.
pictures of paperwork and deliveries without making the driver download an app. Because I don't want another app on my phone. I don't think anybody wants another app on their phone. And the
Not
dis
really. Adopting a new system, yeah, is like a yeah, and people don't dig that.
so this dispatcher, it's literally he gets an email with those pictures as the drivers take them. And what he said was, "Great, I'll get the paperwork before they spill coffee on it."
Nice.
And
Yeah.
for them, it's okay, we can
You don't spill
get that.
coffee on your phone. Yeah, that's totally different. You protect that, maybe.
Well, I don't know. I've met a few drivers like these guys, and I have my doubts on that part. Uh,
Okay.
they are for them, it lets them get updates to their customers faster, even and we don't have a lot of automation in there yet, but now their customers can know, yep, this load, which is from 2 third-party locations, they're not physically at either site. The customers know, yep, it happened the way it was supposed to. We can leverage that to then build the case for, yeah, we need an actual system. We need a transportation management system so we can do more with let's build loads for customers. Let's do more planning. Let's get the guys on more efficient routes so we can better utilize their hours. And frankly, it's great for the drivers because that lets them make more money. It's a
Yeah.
win-win for everyone. And you just have to make that investment on the software.
Yeah. I could see the risk could be a big thing people are pumped about of like, here's proof.
Hmm.
And not only in like the payment part, but just in like the returns, liability, it was gone, who's owns it or who pays for that or who deals with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when something goes wrong.
Yeah. So starting from scratch, that would be one area where you would help them start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You probably have people that you refer on occasion that are in adjacent lanes to you. Who might that be, or what are some of your favorites that you find people are also missing that is helpful for customers, for you, and the overall like improvement and maturity cycle?
I feel like I introduced more people to trucking companies than anything else.
Okay,
That's what I was around for a long time, and
you got a big network of
got a
that.
big network. I know a lot of guys, and you need someone for overnight store refurbishments. I've got a guy. His trucks will 100% be there every time. You need LTL in SoCal. I've got a guy. Family owned company that's been doing it forever, and they are fantastic. And I really like to just put people together like that. I've been working on expanding that out into
I'll
Minneapolis.
ask you for that SoCal reference. Yeah, that's a good one.
But I've been working on growing that into other spaces, the other tech that folks need in their ecosystems, and even precision machining and plastic manufacturing and all of the other inputs that we don't necessarily think about because we don't touch them every day as consumers. But growing just the networks of the people I know and helping people, I like helping people find good people.
Yeah, that's the best. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
so
really
tough to
is.
do. It's from Strategic Coach as a business coaching program I'm in, and it's like they call them who, like who's is like a
Mhm.
person you like might recommend, and you're always like think conceptually like you're one who away from that improvement or from that success or from that project that like you've been dreaming of or that you've been trying to cultivate, and like it's always funny to think of like how powerful that is, no doubt.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, especially in the space that I've always worked in. A lot of folks, whether it's in shipping and operations, customer service, whatever, if you came up through that department, you've got some blind spots because you may not have experienced the holistic operation. One of the things I really love doing is helping people see how they're impacting the rest of the business and how they can help the rest of the business. I'm still working on what'll probably be a talk eventually that I call the people that I call hidden customers, the people that you're helping who you don't know you're helping.
Yeah. You know, when you talk about hidden customers, it makes me just go back to like the customer journey map a little bit of like, that's another like a way to conceptualize that, like, and not only internal to your team, but the journey of the customer themselves.
Yeah, and there are a lot of folks in your company that are your customers. They're consuming your data, they're using your outputs, whatever they are, and we have to think of them as customers too, because it's not
Yeah.
just your end users, it's not just the buyers, it's also everyone else who's using what you make,
What a great work environment you would have if everybody thought that way.
right?
Yeah, I love that. I'm curious, AI, right? Have you heard that word today yet?
You probably didn't see the LinkedIn post that I think it went up, it was scheduled for 9 this morning.
Okay.
Last week, I was actually lucky enough to be on stage for a demo night as part of Twin Cities Startup Week, and
Okay. Nice.
it was 7 companies, 7 minutes, no slides. None of them were AI companies.
Okay. Because there's no slides allowed?
Well, my position on AI is it's a tool. It's like a programming language or AWS or all of the other things that we use to make stuff. But AI on its own isn't a feature, and I don't think it's a product, frankly. A lot of the techniques that we're talking about with AI have been around a long time, some of
Totally.
them actually since the 80s. And for me, the question is really, what are we going to do with it? We don't actually use very much right now. We have a little machine learning, but not much else because it doesn't make sense in our product and for our customers. That may change down the road, but today we can deliver the experience we want, frankly, with less computing power using different methods.
Yeah. And people, it's so funny going to some of the trade shows for sure of like all the supply chains, like AI programs that are eating the world. I got to imagine though, some do flow into your world and are on one side of your connection or on the other. Ultimately, like this part of the specific process, like the connection is more like important than it is like it's not changing the behavior so much of like the decision that's being made with any given shipment.
Exactly. What we do is
The
enable,
pricing, maybe I could see that be like a dynamic pricing, like with airline tickets or something. There's probably some, yeah,
yeah, that's our people are doing that. Um, there and I've taken advantage of it in the past. It can be fantastic. Dynamic pricing has been around forever, basically. But their big thing with it is really our tools give you the data, whether that's to feed your customer experience, feed your data lake and your models, and whatever you want to do with them. One of the things I do really love for AI is that you can use it to summarize big data. You can use it to do analysis. And you have to check it, of course, like anything else, but you can use it to find insights quickly. And that can be really impactful when you get, say, all your actual delivery dates into your data lake. Because I think a lot of people don't think about on time delivery with enough nuance. So on time isn't just, did it get there on time? Compared to what? Did it get there compared to what you first told the customer? Did it get there on time compared to what you told the customer when it shipped? Did it get there on time compared to what the trucker told you they were going to do? And then if it wasn't, why? If it didn't get there on time because there was a flood and the truck couldn't get through, customer still perceives it's late, but that's not the trucker's fault and I shouldn't dig in. So I think about on time basically 3 ways, and being able to measure all of those gives you so much value and gives you targets. What can I improve?
yeah, I love that. That's wild. It's when you promised it, when the customer first was looking at when it could be delivered, when they placed the order, and then tell me the third one again was based on
What the trucker told you they were going to do.
yes,
The one that in a lot of
which
ways
is what people don't see, right? The
right.
customer doesn't see that part.
And from a customer perspective, what matters is what we called eye of the customer at one of my previous companies. They
Yeah,
don't care why. All they care is, did we do what we initially told them they were going to do? Because again, job sites, if there's a crew there, they have to be able to trust you. And in those situations, early can be just as bad as late.
yeah. Totally. Dock's not ready. We can't receive it. You got to wait
Yep.
around. There's no spot for you. We're not open yet. Yeah. Uh, I'm sensitive to time. We made it to the end of our hour, but I did have one or two more questions if you have the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
The life of the startup and being an entrepreneur. I am 20 years in, amazingly, trying to keep this boat afloat. And so I love the entrepreneurial mindset. I love building products and being like in charge of being accountable to customers and the vision of the company. So you get to carry all that in your brain, and it's a lot to juggle, I'm sure. And I'm curious how you think about what's next for you. Perhaps we don't have to relive the struggles that you've had getting to this moment. I love that you have this rate shopping beta is like, this is stable, it's working, it's being adopted, people are getting value from it. What else can I add to it? So I love that lens and just thinking through like what's next. Is there anything else like in the industry you see that are challenges or like innovation areas that you have on your mind other than this rate shopping? Or is there anything else you're seeing that like sparked some interest as what could be next that you would add? Or we're just going to focus on this part and making it better?
Well, the
Or on sales and marketing and getting you out to a bigger world?
that is my daily. What's next in our roadmap is adding more partners and more modes. Because our goal is for our customers to be able to create an account and immediately connect to all their carriers. That means we need to keep adding carriers. Right now, we support LTL and parcel. We're going to add truckload. That's the next big piece, which is going to be a bit of a technical challenge. It's not the same as LTL, but it's so important for a lot of the people that we want to serve because that's even more sensitive for where's my order a lot of the time. That can be very high value. It's sensitive product. That's the big thing that's next.
Why is it harder or more difficult? Or is that just based on who you're dealing with?
Yeah, so when we talk so LTL, we've got 13 providers right now and we cover about 85% of the market. If we do the top 100 in truckload, we're covering less than half the market. It's a lot more
More
dispersed.
work, less coverage.
Yes, but
Okay.
a lot of them use the same software, thankfully.
Yes.
So it's a different slightly different kind of work, which is just going to take a different amount of time.
Well, your partner's got a lot of work cut out for him. Yeah, he's gonna be a
Absolutely.
busy guy.
Well, he's already dreaming about how we do more automation on that side too. So
Yes.
I think he's got a plan there. Beyond that, I really want to find someone who sells to Walmart. They've got a suite of APIs for the entire transaction set from purchase order, advanced ship notice, all the way through. I want to do those, and I need to find somebody to do them with me. Right now, they're paying probably $1 per EDI transaction, and I think I can do those APIs for under 5 cents per.
You would think they'd be fired up on that.
Just meeting the right person for that one.
I'm doing the supply chain masters at the University of Arkansas. It's
Mhm.
like executive where you're doing it nights and weekends. I would say like a third of the class and teachers are Tyson Foods and Walmart people.
Yep.
That are teaching it or that are like students that are in it. So there might be a few hundred people over there that are worth like seeing who's who over there that might be able to help get a call on the books. Nice. Okay. I love it. Well, that's so helpful. I think we'll wrap here. And if I understand it correctly now, we're making an API that helps streamline shipments and brings visibility so that especially B2B shipments, people can know when it was picked up, that it made it on time, have a picture of it, and all within the existing systems that they already have so they don't need to learn anything new or download any apps.
Yep. And they don't need to buy anything new.
Yeah,
That's the
love it.
big
Yeah, they just have to trust, give you some data to start, only a credit card, no long-term commitment, and that's enough to give them a feel for the value that you can add so that they can try it and then expand it across their platform as they need.
absolutely.
Nice. Awesome. Hillary, thank you. I appreciate you spending time today.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. It was a great chat, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, I'm off to Walmart. I'll see who I can find.
Awesome. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.